President Obama now gathering sensitive, very personal data from Americans and using it to, what he says, curb inequality for blacks and Hispanics. Obama actually saying that he's hoping that this database will build evidence for discrimination cases that will make neighborhood schools, hiring, all of these things more equal. But is this venture leveling the playing field? Is it a breach of privacy, or is it probably going to backfire? Jim, I'll start with you. You know, I've talked about this a lot. I see social justice as the centerpiece of President Obama's existence, as being and the main driver of a lot of his policies. And for me, it's frustrating because we've gone back and we're relitigating and refighting wars that were already won. And it's just, and instead of looking at the future for all Americans, I think it's going to backfire, and I think it has backfired, and I think this is going to make it worse.
Well, it smacks of social engineering. It's offensive. It's frightening. It's all about making everybody the same and equal by legislation rather than by the marketplace and people's own efforts. And I think, in spite of the fact that we've moved closer to a culture of dependence, there are enough people in this country who want their freedom, who will fight for it and fight back, and I think it'll fail.
Well, here's the thing, though, Steve, and you say, listen, I want to integrate a neighborhood based on incomes. In other words, listen, let's get some poor black kids from the projects and move them into some wealthy white neighborhoods, Section 8 housing, because that's fair, and that will tilt that's not how it works. I mean, listen, we've always argued about opportunities, fairness of opportunities, but for the president or anyone else, social engineering outcomes, you can't do it. It's failed every time, and I think it'll backfire again.
No, absolutely, Charles. And, Teddy Roosevelt said there are no hyphenated Americans. This president believes there are only hyphenated Americans. Everyone must have some qualifier in front of America. And that's too bad, because I think he's fighting yesterday's battle, by the way. And I know this is just anecdotal, but I have 2 teenage daughters and 4 kids total. Young people these days, I don't think they see race at all. Not nearly to the extent that our parents did.
I've got an 18-year-old son, and I tell you, I've been around him and his friends, and it's remarkable how far that they have come when I was 18 years old, Tammy.
Yeah. Look, this whole thing also smacks of the Clinton dynamic of the Community Redevelopment Fund. Effectively, having homeowners, regardless of your income, so that it would appear as though it was more fairly distributed. But keep in mind, this can also be used as a political database. This is something that he will be using taxpayer dollars to construct. It will be available publicly when he's out of office. That's the other problem with this. And to say nothing of course, the fact that it's telling the individuals involved that you need government in order to get something else.
Or that something is owed to you simply because of your race, one way or the other. And by the way, the Community Reinvestment Act is the piece that started the housing bubble. That's what started it. That's what enabled it. It backfired, and all of us suffered for it.